Hello, welcome to this edition of Real Talk with TAS and OnJerya. We are looking forward to having a little conversation with you tonight to see what you guys are thinking about our topic. It's a hotbed topic with us. I am hoping it will be one with you also because we are excited to just jump right into it because it's been one of those days. I don't know about you guys, but it's been one of those days. Thank you so much for joining us, Tony Aggie 94. It's been one of those days, so we just looking forward to just seeing what we can massage. Because maybe we off on the wrong path, but I know everybody can't be off on the wrong path. So I'm waiting for her to hop on in, and we're gonna hop to it. Because we gonna hit it, and then we gonna massage it, and then we gonna exit stage left. That's what we're gonna do it tonight. So we are just waiting on her, and we gonna roll with it. So she should be hopping in. Let me see who else has joined us here. Okay, let's see here. But yeah, I tell you, with Real Talk with Taz and OnJerya, you never know what you're gonna get. But so many things are happening as we go into the spring. She and I have been talking about lots of concerns that people are having. That a lot of people are going through it, and the question becomes, what's their role in what they're experiencing? And lots of times we don't want to take ownership of our role in what we're experiencing, but we play a role in it, and we have to be held accountable for our role, our responsibility, and sometimes that's a little. That's where I want to use. We don't like it. We don't like it. It means we have to put, our adult clothes and become adulting. As Andre likes to say, adulting is difficult. It is. It's very difficult to be an adult, but sometimes we have to do that, and we have to make tough decisions. But at some point, you have to decide if you're going to, if not, So I don't know. I just think sometimes it's just, an interesting sort of thing, but we have to just, work with it. Um, but yeah, and Jay, I was saying to Tony, Egg 94, that, it's been one of those days, and been talking, about some of the things that are going on with people, and I know you're, um, uh, you've been counseling some folks, and I've been coaching and counseling people, and the thing is, sometimes, as you said, adulting is hard, and as I was saying, it's about being accountable, and we have to take responsibility. So I'm just going to jump right in, if you don't mind.
Oh, no, not at all. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Well, the thing that we were talking about, guys, is the way I initially mentioned it to her is, people are so quick to pull the trigger. And she said, "What do you mean by that?" I said, "They're so quick to jump the gun. They're so quick to get in their feelings. They're so quick to get disgruntled." And I said, "They don't stop to figure out what's going on." And she was still trying to understand. And so I can't give you the example that I was giving her, but I'm going to give you another one. Basically, something goes wrong, and instead of investigating what's happened, you immediately jump to the defenses. You don't investigate to see what you could have done, but you just quit. It's like quick draw McGraw, whatever that is. And as I was explaining this to her, actually, I was in the kitchen. Taz in the kitchen, nutshell. But I was in the kitchen, and I was putting away my food processor. True story. And when I got ready to assemble it, I'm like, "Where's my blade?" And I'm talking about what I was just sharing, except I was giving her the real example. And I said, oh, this is a good example of it. I said, I know exactly where it is. I said, it's in the trash can outside because I had taken some leftover rotisserie chicken and I chopped it up and I made chicken salad. And when I taken the blade out, it was slick. So I had taken a paper towel and to pull it out. And I put it down. So it was in the bag that the rotisserie chicken had come in, which was in a bag. And so when I tied that bag up, because I didn't want it in my kitchen smelling, so I tied it up and I took it outside. Well, I forgot that that blade was in there. True story. This just happened. I forgot the blade was in there. Well, I didn't lose my cool. I'm on the phone with her. I walked right outside. I know my neighbors were like, she's back outside because they would have seen me about an hour ago put the bag in the trash can. Then I went out and got the bag out the trash can, stopped in the garage, opened up the bag, took my blade out, went into the house, dropped the blade in the sink, washed my hands, came back out, tied the bag up, and then took it back out to the trash can. Now, I could have just lost it. I could have lost it. But I'm like, okay, you used your chopper or your food processor. Okay, I looked in the sink. I'm like, the blade wasn't in the sink. But then I'm like, I don't remember washing it. Well, immediately I knew it was in that bag. And I said that to her. I said, oh, it's out in that bag. It's out in the, the trash can. I got to go get it. My point is, I wasn't quick to pull the trigger. I wasn't quick to pull the trigger. I still had enough civility that I was able to think through it, to problem solve, to see where I was accountable, where was my responsibility, what did I do wrong that may have put me in a position where I didn't see the blade for my food processor. Because I had to be accountable because nobody else was here. Nobody else was touching it. So it was on me. And so I thought it was so ironic how I call him the black man. That's Jesus for me. It's ironic how he had kind of structured that. I had done that, didn't even realize I did it. And then we're having a conversation about people pulling the trigger so quickly. And it's like, what's your role in it? Because sometimes we play a role in it. And so as we were talking about some of the things that folks are dealing with that they've been chatting with us about, it's like, okay, excuse me, but they're not wanting to accept their role in it. They're not wanting to be accountable. So it's like, why me? Well, why you? What did you do? Is it that, I'm XYZ, but it seems like every time I think things are going to work out with someone, it doesn't work out. Okay, but if you're doing whatever, why would you think it's going to work out? You know, I was taught early on, however you start is how you have to continue. So if you start something a certain way, that's the expectation. So you can't change the rules in mid-stride. Yeah. But again, this pulling of the trigger, regardless of what the situation is, and what I've been observing is it's becoming more and more rampant. And it's like, it's an excuse. And I didn't know if maybe it's just that I'm just seeing it as an excuse, but it's like people are so quick to jump. And it's like, well, I don't understand. Da, 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 da. Well, did you stop and think? Like I had to stop and think very quickly. Where's my blade? Oh, it's in the trash can because you put it in the trash can because you didn't take it out of the bag. That's where your blade is. Nobody's fault. I can't blame it on anybody else. Luckily, I'm the type of person who likes to clean things up rather quickly and put things away. If I wasn't, pretty soon it would be trash day and my blade would be gone. Now then I might get a little nip and I'd be having a hard time self-regulating. But it's still going to be my fault because I'm the one that put it in the trash bag. It's me. I can't blame anybody else. I just have to get another food processor. So again, this thing of jumping but not stopping to think. And what I don't understand, OnJerya, and maybe you can help me with this, Why would I rather look external for the reason versus looking internal for the reason that something is not going my way?
Because I'm perfect. Duh. Did you not know that? I'm perfect. And because
Oh,
I'm
I didn't.
perfect, I can do no wrong. Like, what do you mean? Like, me make a mistake? Oh, no, not me. That's why. Like, no, baby, you're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. We're human. We all make mistakes. And that's the problem is that many people feel like the rules don't apply to them. No, it does. It apply to all of us. Now, how they are interpreted may not necessarily apply to all of us, but we have rules and we have to abide by them. So, no, you're not off the hook. You're not clear. You're not exempt. You're not excused. So, it goes back to being accountable. Accountable is a very big word. People don't like to hear that word.
Okay.
People don't want to do the work. They don't want to look within, but you have to look within, right? You have to determine, decipher, digest, however, reflect. How did I get here? Why am I here? I heard you ask or make the statement about why me. Yep, that's a question I used to ask a lot. I used to ask that question a lot, honey. I used to be like, well, why me? I'm such a good person. Why am I going through this? I'm such a good person. I help everyone. I do what, a Christian is supposed to do.
Mhm.
And then my answer was, why not
Why
you?
not you?
Why
Mhm.
not you?
Mhm.
So you think that just because you do what you're supposed to do, that you're not supposed to endure some trials and tribulations? You're not exempt. Why did you think you were ever exempt? So again, it goes back to being accountable. Like the reason why things happen, you have to determine how did we get here? Is it something that I did? Or is it something that someone else did? But ultimately, I had a part that I played in it. But you see, that means that we actually have to own our truth, which is not what I want to say, but I'm going to say. We have to own our truth. We have to actually, be accountable and hold ourselves accountable. Um, because we know other people that really care about us are going to hold us accountable, but we have to hold ourselves accountable because at the end of the day, you have to think through. It's a process. I think social media is good and bad, right? We, think about overnight celebrity. Okay, like I do a couple of videos, like Risa Tisa. Okay, like Risa Tisa did her little 50 part series and she blew up and she got all these endorsement deals. Now you see her on TikTok. Now she's at these different talk show hosts. Again, everybody thinks like, well, that happened to her. It can happen to me. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't work that way for everybody. Like those people that it happens for, that's great. But for other people, it's not like that. You have to put the work in. And then you have to be able to walk away after you put the work in and see, like, okay, am I making progress? Yes. Am I not making progress? Why am I not? Is it because maybe I need to do something differently? Maybe instead of using blue as the font color, maybe I should use orange or maybe I should use red. Like, again, it's always that self-reflection, which we've talked about before. You're never going to be able to run away from it because you have to hold yourself accountable. That's really what it boils down to, is holding yourself accountable for the role that you play because you're not perfect. Even though you think you are, you're not. We all have flaws. Don't care how much money you spend getting these veneers and you're looking like, some people, you look like little chiclets in your mouth because you done got these veneers. Or you go get your BBL, you get your bourgeois done, you get your lips injected, you get your nose done to meet this, what society says is perfection. But baby, if you didn't fix what was inside, it don't matter, because that's ultimately what's going to come out, because what is in you is what comes out. So again, if you're not holding yourself accountable, you're just, in my opinion, walking lost.
Well, I think a lot of people are walking lost because the bottom line is I don't want to hold myself accountable. Because I was thinking as you were speaking, how can because we talk about self-reflection, because I'm really big on self-reflection and self-evaluation or self-assessment. But that's, you're constantly reassessing yourself. If you're a business owner, I had a good year last year. Great. The, we're in the second quarter of this year. My business isn't doing as well as it did last year compared to last year this time. Well, I need to figure out what's going on. So I have to reassess what's happened year over year to determine what's going on. Is it seasonal? Whatever it is, but that's holding me accountable. Well, just like we have to do that with our businesses, we have to do that with ourselves. But as long as I don't do that, then I'm not held accountable. It's easier for me to then put it on you as the external person or entity that it's your fault. Well, no, it's your fault. It's your fault. I cannot be responsible. I like to say I'm not the Black Jesus, or I'm not. I can't be responsible for everybody's issues in this world. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I am sorry. I'm good and I'm strong and I'm still transforming, but I'm not that strong. I can't carry everybody. You got to accept some responsibility for what you didn't do and what you did and you didn't do it right. And what gets me is the fact that people don't want to accept responsibility. It's always, well, I've done da 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 da. Well, that was then and this is now. You cannot rest on your laurels. If Michael Jordan had rested on his laurel, and I don't know if it's 5 rings that he has, championship rings, NBA rings, however many it is, he would not have that many rings. Because when I say rest on your laurels, I mean he had the first time he won the championship with the Bulls. Great. And so maybe he kept improving and they won again. But let's say after the second time they won the championship, he didn't continue to work his body, continue to craft himself, improve himself, reassess himself. He's resting on his laurels because he's done it before, so he doesn't have to improve. Well, everybody is studying him to see what they can do to make sure that they're better than him. They're trying to anticipate him. So if he just stays where he was after the first 2 championships, then other people, other teams can then beat his team and him. So again, we just can't say, "Oh, I've done it. It's been great up until this point. So now that it's not great, you're the issue." No, you're the issue because you haven't continued to evolve. You think just because it was great for 1 year, 2 year, 3 courses, 5 courses, whatever it was, 3 dishes that you made, that it's going to be great every time. No, it's not. You must continue to evolve. Lack of evolution. Think about it. If man hadn't evolved, well, depending upon what you believe, because people believe different things. Whatever you believe, but if I go with the theory of evolution, if we didn't evolve, then we'd still be down on our fours. We didn't
Right.
evolve. So again, we have to evolve. And I guess what's really getting me right now is the fact that people want to stay stagnant. And I don't mind you being stagnant if that's where you choose to be. Just don't bring it to me as my problem. See, that's where I draw the line. Don't make it my problem. That's your problem that you choose to remain stagnant. Don't make it somebody else's problem. Own your crap. You chose to stay in that space. If you chose to stay there, fine. Because I believe this, and this is just something, guys, that I've always believed. Because I believe we make decisions, whether we make conscious decisions or unconscious decisions. Once you've made a decision, don't keep talking about it. What do I mean by that? I don't like this. Whatever it is the situation, I don't like it. But you make it, but you don't get out of it. Well, once you decide you're not going to get out of it, don't keep having a conversation about it. Because whomever you're having a conversation with, they don't want to hear it. Because you may say, well, I'm still trying to work my way out of it. but you're not trying to work your way out of it because you've made a conscious decision. Now you're just talking, in my opinion, because you've made a decision. Whether you realize it or not, your behavior now speaks for you. Your behavior is doing the talking because words are cheap. Everybody's got words. Everybody's got words. Everybody want to do this. Everybody want to be this. Not everybody. Some people want to be wealthy. Some people want to be millionaires. Some people just want to be comfortable. Whatever you want to be. My guy says in Pretty Woman, everybody goes to house. Everybody got a dream. What's your dream? It's at the end of Pretty Woman. Everybody got something they want. But can you put the action behind it to achieve it? And if you're doing that, that means you have to be responsible. You're accountable. You're constantly evaluating. You're constantly reassessing. So whether it's personal relationships, whether it's business relationships, whether it's family relationships, whether it's community stuff, whatever it is, you're constantly evaluating that because you're assessing whether you're meeting your goal. Are you getting closer to your goal? And if you're not, then that means you're just out there having fun. And the fact that you're not reaching your goal shouldn't be a concern when you don't reach it. Don't blame other people because you're just out there having fun, baby. Unless I missed something. Did I miss something, Miss O? Did I miss something?
I mean, but why can't I have fun? Why can't I have both? Why can't I enjoy the fruits of my labor, but then also not be held accountable, right?
Well, wait a minute.
Because
Let me interrupt, Miss O. Do you have some fruits of your labor? Because you're talking about the fruits of what'd you say?
no, because I didn't do the work.
Maybe you haven't done the work, so what are you gonna enjoy? You didn't do nothing. But you want to enjoy something. And then the fact that you didn't do nothing, but you think you did something, and then when you're told that you didn't do nothing, then you feel like, oh, I'm offended. But you didn't do nothing. How can you be offended when you didn't do it? And it can be anything.
Mm-hmm.
It could be the doctor told you to walk 30 minutes 3 times a week. You go back in, your blood pressure's still up, your blood glucose is higher. How can you be offended? You didn't do nothing. He says now, I'm going to have to increase. We're going to have to actually put you on insulin
Yep.
because your blood glucose has gone up. We can no longer try to control it with diet and exercise because obviously that's not working. Oh, and you're shocked. Oh, why are you shocked? You didn't do nothing. There are no fruits of your labor because you didn't labor. You have labored. I may have walked sometime. I may have watched my diet sometime. Sometimes it's not going to cut it. You got to do it all the time if you want to see the results. Now, I'm sorry. Am I on my soapbox? Am I seeing it wrong?
I mean, no, you're right, because that's really what it boils down to is that people want to see the fruits of their labor, but they haven't put in the work in order to bear fruit because ultimately it's just like a plant. You know, you're planting tomatoes. Okay. Well, if all you had is the seed, the tomato's not going to grow, right? Like it's a little bit more that goes into it. You got to take the seed, you got to put in the ground. The only reason why I know this is because I just went home and my daddy was planting tomatoes. Okay, so he was telling me about the process. You know, you got to dig your hole, you got to put the seed in there, and you got to make sure that the soil is right, and this and that and that and that. And then you got to water it, and you got to make sure you don't overwater it because then you don't want the seed to like float up to the top. Again, it's a process. And I don't want to do it because it's a process. I want the overnight microwave effect. Like I did a little bit, and because I did a little bit, I should have a lot. So what are you saying? Okay, I played the lottery. I bought the ticket. I did the scratch off. So because I did the scratch off, I should be a millionaire,
Yeah.
right? Mm, no, it don't really quite work that way. Oh, I played, what is it, the mega billion or whatever? I don't know. Okay. Well, I went and got my numbers. I played the numbers, but why I didn't hit? Again, It's a process. It's all trial and error. Like, sometimes it's going to work out right and sometimes it's not. At the end of the day, did you put the work in to bear the fruit? And 9 times out of 10, you didn't, because that's what people don't want to do. People don't want to put the work in. You got to work. I'm so sorry to tell you. You got to put the work in, because if you don't put the work in, then it's just there, right? That's just like you are applying for jobs. Okay, if your resume doesn't change, as they say, when you're applying for different jobs, you need to tailor your resume. Okay, so for example, if I am wanting to be VP of marketing, well, if my resume is reading entry level customer service, are they even going to look at it? No.
Yeah.
You know why they're not going to look at it? Because you didn't tailor your resume to meet the criteria. You just said, "Oh, I worked, I got the experience," but the resume doesn't show that you have experience. Again, it goes back to being accountable. You're wanting these things, but you're not willing to put in the work that is required in order to obtain, however you want to say it, these things that you're wanting. We all want a lot of things, but if we don't put the work in, then we're never going to be able to reap the rewards of it. You're never going to have that satisfaction of, you know, whew, I put the work in. And because I put the work in, I know that the benefits are going to be worth all of it, right? Because I put the blood, sweat, and tears into it. But that's too much, like, right, because I'd rather just complain and mope and gripe about woe is me, because, I love woe is me, and I think people enjoy it. Honey, nobody want to hear you. Nobody want to hear you complain, okay? Because, again, them are choices that you make. We tired of hearing about it, okay? We tired of hearing about you in your same situations that you've been in forever and forever and forever and forever. Well, it must be nice. It is nice. It is nice. My favorite thing is, and I probably shouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it. It must be nice to be able to go on them trips. Hair flip, and it is. You know why? Because I work really, really hard. I work really, really
Okay.
hard. And let me hair flip it again. For those that get the hair flip, you understand. I work really, 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 really hard. So I deserve to do what I want to do with my money. Just like when you work really, really hard, you can go do what you want to do with your money. Don't be mad at somebody because they don't want to do what you want to do. The fruit that I bear is not the fruit that you bearing, okay? The work that I'm putting in is not going to equate to the work that you putting in. Because, see, I know where I'm trying to get to. See, you want to sit here and be complaining about, well, why, I can never go anywhere. Okay. Well, who fault is that? Well, I got these obligations. Honey, we all grown and we got obligations. But I'm a firm believer that if you really want to do it, put your mind to it. Otherwise, stop talking and stop complaining, because, baby, we don't want to hear about it. We tired of hearing about your woes, because everybody got issues. Everybody got trials and tribulations that they fight on a day-to-day basis. So hearing you go on about, well, it must be nice and, no one gave me a chance, they're not going to give you one either. If you want it, you're going to have to go get it. Some people are blessed and are fortunate enough to have that handout, but everybody's not like that. So for those that are not like that, then you got to put the work in and you got to go get it. You got to go grind. And of course, grinding means whatever to you. It means different things to different people. But the bottom line is you got to be accountable. No matter how you slice it, you have to be accountable. If you set a goal, you have to put in the work to achieve that goal. Otherwise, stop talking about it. If you want to lose weight, well, guess what? Everybody's talking about, I need to unbig my back. Okay. Well, how you unbig your back and you over there at Mo Hungless eating them bowberry cookies? You're not unbigging your back, boo. How you gonna unbig your back if all you doing is drinking soda and tea? And yes, I am talking about myself with this too. That's why the water right here. Okay.
Thank God. Thank you. Thank you for
You
the
know,
water. Thank you.
because I love my sweet tea. But guess what? I also know that I have to have that in moderation, right? So I can't complain if things don't move because I'm not putting the work in because it's not going to happen through osmosis. And so when you start holding yourself accountable and start waiting for other people to hold you accountable because they don't care. They tell you they do. They don't care. They just saying that to make you feel good. You know, Halle Berry said a month about, I need you to make me feel good. That's what they're doing. They're just saying that to make you feel good. But the thing is, you have to hold you accountable for the things that you want to do, for the progress that you want to make, and the change that you want to see, regardless of what somebody else's have. And that's another thing. We're so caught up in what somebody else is doing. Do you know you can do that same thing and do it a different way? Maybe a way that nobody thought about, but
Mm-hmm.
you're too busy being stuck because you're choosing to stay with that low hanging fruit. Why? Why do you want to stay low hanging when you can have greatness? You deserve greatness. Just put the work in. Hold yourself accountable. That's all we got to do. I know it's hard. I know it's a scary word. I know, oh, honey, I don't want to do the work. Nobody wants to do the work. Just like we all wish that we can go back to being a kid. Who want to be an adult? If they told you when you was 5, 16, even 18, that, you know, by the time you get to your late 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, that adulting was going to be rough. You wouldn't want to grow up. But this is not Peter Pan. We have to grow up, unfortunately. This is Never Never Land. We have to grow up. And by growing up, that means that we have to be accountable. And if you don't hold yourself accountable, if you refuse to own your stuff, and of course, that's not what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it nicely. If you refuse to own your stuff, then that's a you problem. As we stated, I believe that was last week about growth. Why is that people are choosing not to grow? That is a you problem. Why would you not want to grow? Who wants to remain stagnant? I don't know anybody in their right mind, keyword in their right mind, is choosing to live in insanity. I don't want to go through the same thing every day. Okay, I want to leave the bubble and I want to flourish. It's like being in a cycle that never ends. Why would you want to do that when you don't have to? All you got to do is own your stuff so that you can prosper and move forward. But we get so caught up in the woe is me because I'm miserable. I'm not happy. So you shouldn't be happy either. No, baby, I'm going to be happy. Now, just because you choose to stay stuck, I'm not gonna be stuck with you, and after a while, I'm gonna stop listening. I think you posted a previous episode where
Yes.
where I said you have to go off the grid with some people. With
Yes.
those people, you're gonna have to go off the grid with them
Yes.
because again, if they not wanting to move, that's okay, honey. I'm gonna pull
Yeah.
and you can push, or I'm gonna push and you can however we want to phrase it. But my little way of ragging is it's coming with me while you sitting there looking at yours, and I'm gonna be up that mountain while you still at the bottom trying to figure out now how am I gonna get up there again. You have to you have to be accountable. You have to own your truth and stop looking ultimately for validation in other people. Like I tell my mama that all the time. She don't get me. I know you too when you watch this on the replay, okay? You know, because she'll call and she'll ask for my advice. And I'm like, I don't know why y'all call it. Now, y'all, for those that know me, know that when you call me, I don't sugarcoat nothing. That's a Scorpio in me. I'm going to keep it all the way 100. If you don't want to hear the truth, please don't call me. Because what I got to say, I may probably hurt your feelings, but it's okay. I still love you, though. We may fall out, but it's okay. You're going to get over it, and we're going to move on. But you're seeking validation. You already know the answer. Because if you're calling somebody asking them something, 9 times out of 10, you know the answer. And I'm guilty of it too. I'm not even going to lie.
Yes.
I'm guilty of it because, you just want somebody to make sure you ain't crazy. Because sometimes you be thinking of this stuff and you're like, you know what? Does it make sense? But you know it makes sense. But you're just wanting someone else to confirm what you already know. And there's nothing wrong with that. But again, after you get what you want to hear, You still got to hold yourself accountable. Don't expect for somebody else to hold your hand and walk you through the process. Because again, what they say, I can take the horse to
Lead
the
the horse
water.
to the water, but I
Yeah,
can't make them drink.
I can't make you drink. So that's my take on like the whole, you know, accountability. It's a scary word, I know, but don't be afraid. I promise you, like, accountability is a good thing. It's all about growth, and that's what you want. If you're not growing, then basically you dead. And who wants to die when you right here breathing? Nobody. So be accountable. Don't be afraid. Yes, you're gonna fall. I promise you. You're not going to get it right the first time. Nobody does. Like, look at Apple. It's like when I think about Apple, Apple was Macintosh. You remember that?
Yeah.
You know, like for those, yeah, going way back, way back. It was Macintosh. These kids don't even know what that is. I'm like, look at the phone. Look at your cell phone. The cell phone used to be in a bag with an antenna on the car. Again,
Mm-hmm.
kids don't know nothing about that. Used to have a flip phone, not this cool flip phone that you got now. It was nothing like that. Things change, it evolved. Because think about it, if it didn't, we still would be in 2024 riding around with your bag phone with the
Okay.
antenna on your car. And now you look at you got your AirPods, you got all your little gadgets and gadgets, and you can walk, hey boo. You got all your gadgets and gadgets, and you can like walk around with it now. But if technology stood still, think about that. If technology stood still and didn't grow, didn't evolve, we would be some hurt people. It's like I was talking to someone the other day and they were saying how, they had went to this restaurant and, the little robot came out there. Now I don't know if the robot took their food, like took their order or whatever, but the little robot machine brought them their food.
Uh-huh.
I know. I was like, ooh, that's kind of fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I'm like, well, how did like, I didn't get into all of that because I like to ask questions and I've been told that I ask too many questions become like a little interrogation. But it's like I'm very inquisitive. I want to know, like, because I think that's neat. It's also scary because you know that means that this machine is also replacing, a human being. So that's a job loss, right? But just think about that. We saw this on the
Yeah.
Jetsons. You had Rosie, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, and she was doing everything. And now to actually see it happen in person,
Monica
it's like,
said that some pick up the dishes only.
oh, see, again, didn't know that. So it's like, the thing is, you have to grow. You don't want to, nobody wants to, but you have to. And if you don't, trust and believe the universe will force you to.
We
That's when that good old Mercury retrograde comes around that we
feel good stuff.
currently in.
We did it again.
Yeah, it's almost over with, girl. I think it's over with like tomorrow. Is tomorrow the 25th? Yeah, I think it's over with tomorrow. But see, you still got the 2 week shadow period thereafter. Woo! So we almost there, y'all. We
Yeah.
almost there. But again, it's like you have to learn the lesson. You want to learn the lesson because what you don't want to do is remain in this cycle of not holding yourself accountable and not growing because you want to grow on your own accord and not where the universe forces you to grow. Because sometimes when the universe forces you to make those changes are really hard. And I'd rather just do it on my own accord, versus being forced into something because sometimes when you get forced into it, you're not ready for it and the universe don't care. Don't care.
Well, Anjay, I think that you're right. You'd rather make a conscious decision versus having no decision to be made, but you just have to do something. And but I want to go back to your example about the applying for a job, VP versus in your resume, you're telling your resume to the job, and your
Mhm.
resume is basically for customer service, whatever, and you're applying for a VP. And what comes to mind is this one size fits all. And I
Yeah.
think that's the crux of what we've been talking about. And the reason why perhaps people don't want to be accountable, they think that um, because I interact with this person that way, then it's okay. I did it this way, so it's got to be fine. I did it that way, so that's okay. Instead of learning that you have to get to know whatever it is. It could be
Yep.
your new job. New job is just not the work that you do, it's the
Mhm.
people, it's the
Mhm.
culture, it's the climate, it's how the organization breathes and lives. It's because it's a living, breathing organism.
Yeah.
You have to get to know all of that because that then will impact how you're able to do your job and your internal customers and your external customers. And I think that's the issue when people say, well, it's always worked before, because you're still
Mhm.
using a one size fits all. And then when you see that the one size doesn't fit all, and I'm really not trying to step on anybody's shoes, hopefully, then it's so easy to look at the external person and then we begin to say, okay, is it because this person is a female?
Yeah.
Is it because they're male? Is it because they're Latina? Is it because they're white? Is it because they're African American? Is it because they're Native American? Is it because they're
Right.
Indian? Is it because they're Hawaiian? Whatever, on and on and on and on. Because again, now I'm looking for something still outside of me.
Right.
There has to be the reason why something is not working instead of stopping and looking at what's going on with me that could be impacting what is happening.
Mhm.
Because, when I talk about putting my blade in the, now some people say, well, Todd, you kind of haven't gone through it, ain't you? Well, I'm kind of tired. I'm really kind of tired. And for me to put my blade in the trash, that's a sign for me. Now, some people say, oh, that's not a sign. Oh, no, that's a sign. That's a sign. But I had already decided before I realized I had put my blade in the trash can that I was going to have to regroup
Yeah.
because I knew I could tell that I was a tad tired, just a tad. But then once I realized that I put my food processor blade in the trash can and put it outside in the trash can, not in the kitchen in the trash can, outside in the trash can.
Mhm.
That says to me, okay, that one size fits all, what you've been doing and it's been working, it's no longer working.
I was
Because
working anymore.
when you put your food processor blade in trash can, you might as well put the whole food process in the trash can. Because if you put the blade in there and it gets taken off, if the trash gets picked up, you can't do anything with food processing. So it's DOA. So for me, it's like, so whatever lens, however you've been operating, whatever schema, whatever way, mode of operating that you've been working for the last 2, 3 weeks, you're gonna have to look at that because that's
Yeah.
no longer working for you, baby. Just in case nobody hadn't told you, and if they had told you, and because someone had said something to me, I ain't gonna say what they said. And I will say to them, I quickly, because I was on the computer, I quickly, Googled the term to even know what they meant because it's just not my language. But then I saw what it meant.
Mhm.
But again, but if you think about, since OnJerya knows the term that she used to describe me, given what you said, the term that you said, you got the term. You got the term again. My
Oh,
putting my blade
man.
in the trash can, that just sealed it, didn't it? Think about it. I don't have no shame. You can tell me the word that you said. You said I was what now?
Yeah, I don't
You
even
remember?
remember the word. I just said so much. What the I don't even what I said.
She said that I was tweaking.
Oh yeah, you were tweaking. Girl, yeah, you were tweaking.
And I didn't know what that meant. And so I was sitting at the computer. So I didn't know what it meant. So I looked it up because she's like, you need to get some sleep. And I
Yeah.
didn't. And I'm like, but think about it. because I'm gonna bring this. I'm wrapping it up right now. You said to me, because we started this show off talking about the fact that people are quick to pull the trigger. It's somebody else's fault. It's not my fault. It's somebody else's fault. And then, because we were talking about that, and then I realized that, oh, as I got ready to put up my food processor, oh, I don't have the blade. And we were talking about this, guys, before we were coming on. And I said, oh, I looked in the sink. I'm like, oh, it's not in there. And I'm thinking, I didn't wash it. Then I thought, oh, it's outside. Let me go get it out of the trash can. Because I put it in the trash can because it was in the bag with the rotisserie chicken that I had, chopped up and made chicken salad. And so I didn't get upset. And I said, this is a good example about what I'm talking about. People are so quick to pull the trigger and blame somebody else instead of problem solving, thinking through what has gone wrong to determine why it went wrong. What was their role in why something didn't happen the way they anticipated? But instead of doing that, they pull the trigger and it's everybody else's fault.
Right.
And so I'm living what I'm talking about. So I go get the blade out the trash and blah, blah, blah. And OnJerya had said, probably 3 hours before then, you're tweaking. Was that, did I get it right? Did I lose a word? I got it right still, tweaking.
No, you
And I didn't even
you
know she was
were tweaking.
and
Yeah, because you were tweaking.
I said, I didn't even know she was talking about, but I was at the computer. So I'm like, what did that mean? And of course, I didn't know what it meant. And then,
Not
but
you
then,
using Webster.
uh,
I said, not you using Webster.
always, because I don't know what it's stuff they mean. I mean, I've heard it, but I want to get the, what I mean. I want that precise definition, so I know what you're talking about. See, I didn't ask you what you meant because I hadn't looked it up, so I knew what you were talking about. And so, and I'm like, really? She's like, yeah, you were just talking a mile a minute. Well, I talk fast anyway. And of course, when I'm tired, I'm going to talk even faster because I'm really myself. And so, but my point is, because I was tired, I didn't even realize I left my blade in the bag and put it out in the trash. And you didn't know that. But that's a good example of the fact that when you said that I was tweaking and I need to get some sleep, when you go get some sleep, that's a good example of it. It shows me that you need to get some sleep because you're throwing away your blade for your food processor because you're so tired. You didn't realize that you left it in the bag. You didn't realize that you didn't wash it because I didn't. I didn't realize it until I got ready to reassemble everything. And it was like, where's the blade? And then it was like, oh, it's not in the sink. Oh, it's out in the trash can. And it was. So again, this one size fits all. Whatever it is that you use, it's the way we think, it's the way we interact, it's the way we see things. Sometimes you can't use that anymore. And it's not because people are being hard, people are being difficult, they don't like you, whatever, we can blame it on many other things. It's not that. It means that you have to now be accountable. Because I could have played the blame game and said, well, I, I got too much going on. I don't know why I put my blade in the trash and put it out there in the dumpster, in the trash can rather, because I did. So I got too much going on and I need to sit down and rest a little while. That's the reason. It's my fault. Ain't nobody else's fault. I need to own my truth. I can't blame nobody else. I did it. I have to accept responsibility. I'm the person that's accountable. Now I need to fix it. And it's more than just washing the thing and, reassemble it. That ain't it. I need to fix what caused me to do it, which means get some sleep. Real simple. So, when we're tired, we make mistakes. Our minds don't operate the same. We are not as rational. And that's the reason why it's so important not to pull the trigger and stop and reflect and assess a situation to determine what's really going on versus saying, it's been fine up until now. Okay, well, what's different now? Maybe it's not the person. It might be you and what you're encountering. But I want to blame you instead of taking responsibility myself. And so if I could leave us with anything tonight, as you said, it's a hard pill to swallow. Base, it's a big word, that accountability. Um, but you gotta own your truth and stop. The longer we keep pushing it off on other people,
Yep.
the longer we're gonna be stuck in quicksand, and pretty soon we're just gonna be swallowed all the way down. I mean, why are you laughing at me?
Have you ever been swallowed? Swallowed up.
I don't get it. I don't get the reference, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you really don't
No, I don't.
know.
No.
I'm gonna have to send you the video. It's TD Jakes.
Oh,
Oh god.
what's TJ's? I haven't heard that one.
Oh goodness, he was he was doing a sermon, and he was like walking around, talking about, have you ever been swallowed up by the truth? And Chris
Well,
Brown,
about the truth.
Chris Brown, woo, Team Breezy all day long. Okay, I know him and Quavo beefing, but Team Breezy, honey, and Chris Brown, he basically did a poking fun at the video. And he walks around. He's like, have you ever been swallowed up? Swallowed. I'll send you the video after we're done.
Okay. Okay. No, I haven't seen it. But and you said TJ swallowed up by all your crap,
Yeah.
basically. And I'm feeling it, what he's talking about. Yeah, because you get swallowed up, you get stuck, and then pretty soon you just get swallowed up because you're in quicksand. You just swallowed up by all your crap. But it's your fault. It's nobody else's fault. That's the thing that I want us to understand. It's your fault, baby. It ain't my fault. Don't come blaming me, because I'm not going to blame you.
Right.
Because, Tupac said that's just the way it is.
Things will never be the same.
It's my son. I'm going to have to play it when we get out to help me get through about 30 more minutes of work. I'm going to have to play Tupac, and then I'm going to shut it down. But yeah, accountability, it's time for us to own our truth instead of blaming others,
Yep.
because really, they can't correct it. If it's to be corrected, we're the ones that have to do it. And I would not give anybody else that power. Not that they could do it anyway. You don't give power away like that, baby. You don't give people your power.
Mm.
You control you. Don't let other people control you. So any last words, Miss OnJerya?
No, girl, because I think we done swallowed up everything.
Well, then swallowed up. Swallowed up. Okay, I can't wait to see this video. I am behind. See, she's supposed to keep me up on this stuff. I swallowed up. But I like PDJ. I didn't know about the swallowed up. And Chris
we,
Brown, I like Chris. Okay. So we done swallowed
yeah,
up.
we
So don't be
done
swallowed up.
swallowed up.
Be swallowed up by
Don't
your
be
stuff.
swallowed.
So, all righty. Now, guys, remember, before you take care of anybody else, make sure you take care of yourself first. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. And we'll see you next time with Real Talk with TAS and OnJerya. Bye now.
Bye.